One of the world's most mass appealing, versatile compliment getters, YSL Y Eau de Parfum against the brand new YSL Y Eau de Parfum Intense. Hi, welcome to therottenrebel. I'm here with the one and only Sandra Solomon Fragrance.
Yes, hi everyone.
And welcome back to yet another comparison. And this is going to be a lot of fun. And I think this is going to be quite hard because we are going to compare YSL Y Eau de Parfum, the super mass appealing, super versatile compliment getter, against the new flanker Y EDP Intense. This is going to be fun and tough.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So like always, we have prepared fragrance strips with the dry down, but please do spray on the opening and the opening of Y EDP. Some of the notes in YSL Y Eau de Parfum are apple, ginger, bergamot, sage, juniper berries, geranium, amberwood, tonka bean, cedar, vetiver, and olibanum. So please do share how you feel about the opening.
I mean, the opening of this one is so good. I get something fresh, citrusy, and almost like a really nice shower gel in the opening. And that is, I mean, it's an opening that you just can't dislike it.
Yeah, the opening is gorgeous. This to me opens up with that classic duo of sage and geranium. So I talked about that sort of a classic duo a lot, and I feel this is a good example of that combo done in a fantastic way.
Yeah.
There's a really nice dose of freshness to the opening as well, and a bit of fruitiness to it. So the opening is basically like a spicy, citrusy and aromatic kind of freshness with a bit of fruitiness to it, and I think it's a fantastic opening. It's not only a fantastic opening, it's also an opening that you just can't go wrong with. This, without a single doubt, will appeal to most people. Most people who get a whiff of that opening will think it smells really nice.
Yes, I mean, who doesn't like the scent of something fresh, something quite clean and just energizing like this?
So the opening has a dose of juniper berries to it, and I think that combo with sage, geranium and juniper is just fantastic. The opening, a big two thumbs up from me. I know, yeah, I promised that we would quit the thumbs
Tell me more
up.
about the big thumb.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
one is your
yeah.
big thumb?
So let's, enough with the thumbs. Simply put, I really like the opening. How about you?
I think it's an incredible opening.
So let's move on to the dry down. Please do share your thoughts on it.
Yes. This is still fresh, it's still aromatic, you get more of the fruity apple, and the citrus is a bit toned down.
This is gorgeous. The dry down to me is mostly woody with a bit of that sage and geranium still present, but that part of it is a lot softer by now. And there's a bit of fruity sweetness to the dry down as well, which I think gives it a fantastic, quite attractive touch. The dry down is really nice. I do think I enjoy the opening through to the mids just a bit more because of sort of how fresh and sharp that opening is, and because of how intense that sort of a fruitiness is in the opening through to the mids. But I mean, come on, the dry down, so easy to like, so easy to wear, very mass appealing, very versatile.
It really is. And if you know me now, you know that I'm going to disagree with you because I am not that fond of fresh fragrances. So I actually enjoy the dry down more because it starts to become more soft. It gets a little bit deeper. There's a hint, and just a hint, because this is not a sweet kind of fragrance, but there is something sweet there in the background when it has dried down, and the citrus is less sharp, and that is what I prefer.
So to sum it up, Y EDP is basically an aromatic, spicy and fresh scent with a woody side and a bit of sweetness to it. You get that classic and, at least according to me, fantastic combo of sage and geranium with a dose of juniper berries and a woody and sort of a sweet dry down that's really easy to wear.
Yeah.
So it's time! Let's try the opening of Y EDP Intense. Some of the notes in YSL Y Eau de Parfum Intense are ginger, juniper berries, bergamot, sage, geranium, lavender, vetiver, patchouli and cedar. So please do share your thoughts on the opening.
This is a great opening because this opening is less fresh than the original. This is more spicy, it's more warm, and it has some I would say some depth and elegance in another way.
Oh my, this to me is absolutely beautiful and to me quite addictive. Right away, that trio of sage, geranium and ginger, so it's like a bright and sort of a fresh in the opening, but just like you mentioned, it's not as bright and sort of fresh as the opening of the original Eau de Parfum. The opening in a way feels sort of a classic, but there's a twist to the opening, which is the juniper, and that together with the rest of the notes gives it a sort of a twist. Some of you might disagree with me, but I do feel there's a uniqueness to the opening, and that uniqueness is really what I'm addicted to. I think the opening is a fantastic one. It feels familiar in a way, but there's a twist to it that I think is gorgeous.
Yes, and I think that the twist for me is that it has this herbal side together with the aromatic side, but it also has this creamy, warm and thick kind of scent to it, and that's what really makes it unique.
The more it goes into the opening, the more I get the lavender. So it feels like the more it sort of heads into the opening and into the mids, the lavender is sort of growing in intensity. And at the same time, it feels like the ginger is sort of softening up.
Yeah.
I think the opening is just like the Eau de Parfum, a mass appealing one. This to me is something that's extremely easy to wear. This thing works anywhere, anytime, for any occasion, and I think it's a gorgeous opening.
I agree with you, and no matter which one of these two that is the best one, which we will have to decide on in the end of the video, but do you think that someone needs to have both of these?
That's a really good question, and I guess I get that kind of question quite often, and the way I would sort of think about it is it depends on how much you enjoy this kind of scent. And if you want something that just works, then I guess you could just go with either of them. But if you are like me, in that you enjoy differences, you pick up nuances and you enjoy those nuances in different ways, then I would say, both of these, it's not redundant to own both. I guess for most people it is, but I actually feel that if you love this kind of scent, if you want a slightly different take on the original, then I don't feel it's redundant. But if you are happy with the Eau de Parfum, then I guess you don't have to get the EDP Intense.
No, and I think I'm gonna add that if you have a collection of like 5 fragrances, it's not necessary that 2 of your 5 are these 2, because I really think you should have some more variation. But if you have many fragrances, then as you said, if you like these kinds of scents and you just want different variations of it, you could have both.
So just like with the opening of the original Eau de Parfum, I give no thumbs up. I really like the opening. No thumbs up. I really like the opening of Eau de Parfum Intense as well. What about you?
I think the opening is fabulous.
And now, please do try the dry down of Eau de Parfum Intense.
The dry down is extremely good, and I can also let you know that the dry down on skin is even better than it is on paper strips. I mean, when we were trying this out and I was sitting by my computer and trying to like figure it out, I mean, it just got better by the minute.
And here's the thing, when you prepared the dry downs on these strips and I caught a whiff of it, I just fell in love even more. Gorgeous dry down. But as it starts to dry down, everything starts to shift into something that's mostly woody with a bit of soft lavender to it and a slight hint of earthiness. That earthiness, it's not something that's too heavy, too deep or prominent, but there's definitely a slight hint of earthiness to it. So basically the dry down is like a woody mix with soft lavender and a bit of earthiness to it. I think the dry down is a really nice one, but I actually think the opening through to the mids is a lot more exciting because there's that sort of a big dose of spiciness and aromatics. It's sort of a fresh, it has that addictive, at least to me, twist to it. So I like the dry down, but the dry down feels more familiar and less exciting than the opening through to the mids.
I think that you are in team opening when it comes to the
Yeah,
Y fragrances,
I guess,
and I
yeah.
am in team dry down. I think the dry down is better than the opening because it's more soft, it's more deep, thick, interesting in a way. And what do surprise me is that I actually like the notes, the base notes in the original better than I like the notes in the intense version.
Okay.
Only judging from the notes, from what I can read, but from what I can smell, I think the base is better in the intense. The original has like amber wood, it has tonka, so there's some warmth and sweetness there, and this one doesn't have it, but I think this is the one that smells a bit more warm and sweet in the base.
So here are my thoughts on usage, so like versatility, occasion, stuff like that. I included both of these in my everyday fragrances for men video. I'm going to link to that one above, so please do check it out. That means I feel these are extremely versatile.
Yeah.
They are extremely mass appealing. The eau de parfum is a wicked compliment getter, i.e. it's highly likable, very easy to wear and enjoy. Both of these, at least according to me, can be worn throughout all seasons, throughout the day, to any occasion. Wear any of these to work, school, or when you are going on a date. And both of these will work guaranteed in any situation. With that said, I do experience the original eau de parfum to be slightly lighter, which basically means that this one might be more suitable when you want that kind of sort of a scent.
Yeah.
But they are fairly similar in usage. So
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on that. How do you feel about usage?
I kind of agree with you. I think that maybe because the intense is more intense, it's probably the one you would reach for more when it's colder outside. And maybe the original is the one that you will spray on more often in the summer. And when it comes to occasions, I think you, as you said, you can wear this to any occasions. I think if we're going to talk about dates, you know me, I always go with the more intense ones. And of course, the intense one is the better one for dating. I think though that the Y fragrances are kind of like the first date kind of fragrances because they are very safe to go with.
Okay.
And maybe when you have met her a couple of more times and you know more what she's into and you want to show a bit more of your personality, you go with something else. But this is like the perfect first date fragrance.
So it's time for us to decide which of these we think is the best. So this was, and I said it in the beginning that this would be a tough one, and you should have seen me. I've been sniffing my hands, I've been sniffing these strips like crazy. And I'm gonna be honest, I still probably, I can't decide.
After all that,
After
you
all my
almost made me fall
sniffing.
asleep.
Sorry about that. This is so hard because I absolutely love that more sort of a sharpness and freshness of the original. The original and that sort of a fruitiness that it has is so good. It just makes me feel so good. But that's sort of a slightly smoother, more mature eau de parfum intense, and it's hyper addictive. Opening through to the mids is something 100% absolutely insanely in love with. So I don't know, is it acceptable for me to just go with a tie?
No.
Our first tie ever.
Because this is a comparison and people are expecting you to make a decision.
Okay.
And so if we say this,
Okay, so let's
you
do
can
this.
only keep
You
one.
decide first, which will give me like
No,
a second
because
or
then
two.
you're just going to copy me because I always have the right answer.
Okay, no, you have to go first because I have to think about this. So please.
Okay, I'm going to
share.
help you.
Okay.
I'm going to help you.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you can copy me later. I think that both are amazing, but I think you might already guessed which one I am mostly in love with, and it is the Intense one. I'm gonna say like this, if I were a man and I had the original in my collection, I would probably finish that bottle before I got myself a bottle of the Intense one, because the original is still an amazing fragrance. And I do think that you don't need both if you don't have a really big collection, but my favorite is the Intense one. So if you don't have any Y fragrance, go for the Intense one.
Okay, and thanks for that. I needed that time to make up my mind. So here's the thing. Honestly, this is probably the first tie, but I have to choose one. And pretty much up until just a few seconds ago, I would have chosen the original because I love it. It's a fantastic, easy to wear scent. But I just realized that the new Eau de Parfum Intense has a bit more personality to it. It's a bit more colorful in a way. So while I do think that the original EDP is slightly more versatile, it's a gorgeous scent. I want both of these in my life forever. I am going to go with the one I feel has a bit more personality, which is the Eau de Parfum Intense. So I would love to know how you feel about these two and which of these you would choose if you could only choose one. Please put that in the comments. Please do drop a like on this video. Thank you, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you head on over to Sandra Solomon Fragrance's channel. I'm gonna link to her channel in the description below. Sub to her, sub to me, and I'll see you in the next one.